come. I've seen people go. I've seen them come. I've seen them go. You gotta be chill. You gotta like just take what's
of Travis Bickle or the hardened resolve of Jake LaMotta. Instead, we got the loud, erratic ramblings of a man so lost in his own echo chamber that he thought a street corner rant would stop a movement. He likened Trump to 9/11. He warned the world would be destroyed if people didn't vote for Joe Biden. He called the former president a criminal and a monster. And then, as if summoned by the chaos, Trump supporters surrounded the press event and heckled De Niro so thoroughly that he looked like a man caught in the third act of a play he never rehearsed for. But while the streets of Manhattan froze in awkwardness, two voices, on entirely different ends of the commentary spectrum, were already locked in. Joe Rogan, the Zen skeptic with the wit of a stand-up and the calm of a jiu-jitsu coach, took one look at De Niro's outburst and didn't see political fire. He saw a man unraveling. Robert De Niro starts talking and I'm like, Jesus, get the microphone away from him so I can enjoy Taxi Driver, Rogan sighed, not with malice, but with genuine sorrow. Because for Rogan, this wasn't about Trump or Biden. It was about the slow, sad decline of a legend. A man who once shaped culture, now desperately chasing it. A man who used to speak with his eyes, now screaming with his lungs. He was Raging Bull Man, Rogan said. He was in The Godfather. What happened? What happened, indeed? Somewhere between playing gangsters and filming commercials for Uber Eats, De Niro decided that shouting about democracy on CNN was the new method acting. But there was no method to the madness, only noise. Rogan, watching it all unfold, looked less like a political commentator and more like an anthropologist observing a wounded animal lash out in confusion. It's like watching a psychological case study in real time, he said. The man who once exuded masculine restraint on screen was now behaving like an unhinged uncle at Thanksgiving dinner, screaming about fascism and forgetting the cranberry sauce. He used to be intimidating with just a glance, Rogan noted. Now he's a punchline, a meme, a cautionary tale. And that's what makes it so tragic. De Niro didn't become controversial. He became irrelevant. And he's reacting to that irrelevance with volume, hoping that if he yells loud enough, we'll mistake desperation for gravitas. Meanwhile, Jesse Waters didn't bring sorrow, he brought gasoline. Where Rogan dissected, Waters detonated. With the swagger of a man who knew the whole show would implode before the second act, Waters pounced. Robert De Niro wants you to vote for Joe Biden, he said with a smirk. Or else. Or else, what, exactly? He yells at you again from a sidewalk. For Waters, the hypocrisy was just too rich. The man who made a career out of playing blue-collar heroes now living in a penthouse on the Upper West Side, lecturing the working class about justice and morality. This guy hasn't seen a Home Depot receipt in 30 years, Waters joked. But now he's the moral compass for HVAC technicians and Uber drivers. Waters ripped through the layers of De Niro's public persona like peeling off a costume. One minute he's preaching unity, the next he's throwing tantrums that make a toddler in Target look composed, he said. It wasn't just a roast, it was a full deconstruction. He pointed out how De Niro's entire political persona is a stitched-together Frankenstein of Hollywood tropes and activist talking points, all dressed up in designer scarves and delivered from behind iron gates. And just when you thought the satirical beatdown couldn't go further, Waters dragged De Niro's acting career into the ring. You played gangsters with iron fists, he quipped. Now you're whining about the country being destroyed because someone didn't vote your way? It wasn't an insult. It was an indictment. An indictment of what happens when legacy morphs into entitlement and talent curdles into self-righteousness. Rogan and Waters didn't coordinate their response. They didn't need to. One came with philosophical depth, the other with cultural fire. But they arrived at the same conclusion. De Niro isn't angry at Trump. He's angry at irrelevance. At a world that no longer rolls out the red carpet when he speaks. At a public that used to hang on his every word, now laughing at his sidewalk soliloquies. The man who once controlled the room with a whisper now can't even control the narrative with a megaphone. And in that unraveling lies the deeper issue, because De Niro isn't just a celebrity having a bad political moment. He's the symptom of a larger sickness in Hollywood, the belief that fame equals insight. That playing a president on screen gives you the right to scold one in real life. That awards and applause can substitute for real-life wisdom. Joe Rogan nailed it when he said, "Actors live in a world of pretend." Their job is fantasy. Why are we surprised when they start confusing that for reality? And Waters, never one to miss the kill shot, added, De Niro wants to talk tough, but tough guys don't whimper when someone challenges their opinions. They don't sob when the Yelp review isn't 5 stars. There was once a time when actors knew their lane, entertainment. Not politics. Not policy. But somewhere along the way, the applause started to feel like truth. The red carpets became pulpits. And now we have scenes like this, an 80-year-old legend, surrounded by hecklers, yelling into the wind, begging the world to care. But the world isn't listening. Not because it disagrees, but because it's exhausted. De Niro's meltdown wasn't news. It was déjà vu. Just another chapter in the growing anthology of celebrity implosions we never asked for. Even the Biden campaign, realizing the optics were terrible, tried to distance themselves. Morning Joe anchors winced. Democratic aides reportedly cringed. The moment that was supposed to energize the base only energized the opposition. De Niro got heckled. Trump got headlines. And Rogan and Waters got yet another example of why the public has stopped trusting the stars. Because in the end, this isn't about left or right. It's about reality versus performance. And Robert De Niro, a man who once defined what it meant to be authentic on screen, has become a parody of authenticity in real life. He's not Raging Bull anymore. He's Raging Boomer. And the more he rants, the more we miss the silence he once commanded so effortlessly. If you made it to the end of this descent into delusion, here's what we want to know. Are we finally done with actors doubling as activists? Do you still want your favorite movie stars preaching politics? Or has the magic worn off? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want more breakdowns of the cultural chaos unraveling before our eyes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Because while De Niro's script may be lost, we're just getting started.